Let's go to all NBA real quick. So first team all NBA ballot. Forwards were the easiest choice to make on any team at any position.
Yep.
I went with Tatum and Giannis at forward. I know I've talked to a bunch of voters that are going to manipulate this in some way and potentially put Embiid, Jokic, and Giannis all on the first team. I know a lot of people are now putting Luka as a forward because there's so many guards that are worthy, and they feel like Luka as a forward allows them to put another. Luka's not a forward; he's a guard.
Yeah. So
I'm not doing that on any of these teams. I'm doing it by the position that they played the most. So forward first team: Tatum, Giannis; center, Joel Embiid. Little potential preview for the last award we're going to talk about. Guard, Donovan Mitchell. Cleveland was 44-24 when he played this year. That's essentially a 53-54 win rate, which would be the tied for the third best record in the NBA. Shai is my other first team all NBA guard. Do you have any issue with any of that?
No, it feels like the last. We'll get the second team in a second. It feels like the last 3 weeks to a month probably pushes Donovan into that conversation over Luka.
Yeah,
we'll get to Luka, but just even with Donovan had been averaging 40 points a game for 10 days.
Second team all NBA forward Jimmy Butler, forward Jaylen Brown, center Nikola Jokic, guard De'Aaron Fox, guard Luka Doncic. Luka was going to be first or second team. I know that there were issues this year in Dallas. I know that he is not a great defender. Actually, you know what? He's a fine defender when he's engaged. The complaining and not getting back on defense, I think, hurts them a lot. Can't argue with the production there. Can't argue with the ability to keep his team in a game. Fox, for me, I think the success of the Kings and the clutch time play, and here's the issue we ran into with a lot of these guards is games played.
Yeah.
And that kind of pushed him over the top into the second team for me.
Yeah, my only issue, I don't want to rehash too much what we talked about last week. That's just I would just have Booker there. But
Booker on second team?
Yeah, Fox doesn't make it.
I don't know if Booker made my games played threshold.
Yeah, I just would. I mean, we'll go through third, but everything looks good except I just think Fox defensively, I think that's a thing you just have to consider. This is such a competitive year that I would have. And I think, Booker was first team last year and his numbers are better. And the team has been, Kevin aside, even being in fourth with what they've sort of gone through this year health-wise, I think is impressive. But the games played thing is a real thing.
Yeah, Booker played 53, didn't make my games played threshold. Third team All-NBA. This is why I waited till last night to make my final votes. I started really doing all of my research and started putting together my lists. Again, I've got about 10 pages of notes here on every award. Earlier this week, when I was in Portugal and then did some more work on the flight and spent a ton of time down here in the basement over the weekend, I was waiting to see if LeBron was going to play on Sunday. I decided, look, given the availability across the league of players, 55 became my threshold. And it's interesting because I think it would have been higher had a bunch of these guys played 75 or more games.
Yep.
And you go down, dude, I actually went this morning, top 20 scorers in the NBA, only 4 guys played over 70 games. So when we're discussing games played, 55 versus 63, I think this year was an anomaly. I really do. And I talked about it last week. I think we're going to get back to guys playing 65 to 75 games on a consistent basis.
Well, especially with the change.
The pendulum is going to swing back the other way. I really believe this. I think in a normal year, right, we're going to have to do 65 for these awards. This year was 55. Yeah. To me, a guy playing 61 versus there's no difference between 61 and 55 this year.
If it was not LeBron, who is that alt?
It was going to be Randall. Randall's so this is, I'll discuss this in a second as it relates to the Knicks and the Grizzlies. Let me go through my third team real quick. Forward, LeBron James. Forward, Lauri Markkanen. Center, Sabonis. That was an easy choice. Guards, I can't deny what Steph Curry and Damian Lillard did this year. Two of the best seasons for a guard potentially ever. I mean, seriously, those guys were unbelievable this season. So I had them as my third team guards. And look, I think for both these guys, if Dame doesn't get shut down, he's not on my third team. If Steph doesn't get injured, he's on my first team. That's how good they were. So
if Dame doesn't get shut down, he's on the second team, you mean?
At least.
Yeah.
I mean, at least. These to me, when they were on the court, and this is not a knock on Shai or Luka or Donovan Mitchell. To me, these guys were the two best guards in the NBA this year. They just didn't play enough games.
Yeah.
To really be in the conversation for first team All-NBA. What I wanted to say about the Knicks and the Grizzlies, as I said, tied for the 5th best record, and the Knicks came in with the 8th best record in the NBA. They're not represented on the All-NBA team in my voting, and I don't like that. I had to make some hard decisions. You could make an argument for Ja on second team, third team. I'm not taking Steph and Dame off my list. So if you're taking anybody off, it'd be De'Aaron Fox, who made my second team. If it's Ja or James Harden or Drew. And then Randall, I think, is the other guy. And then I did give some consideration to Jaren Jackson Jr., but ultimately I landed on LeBron and Lauri Markkanen in the third team.
Yep. On this list, the only two teams that have two guys are Boston and Sac.
Yes, correct. And
the Sac thing is interesting. I think it
is interesting.
They could lose in the first round. I feel like,
this is a regular season award. I don't fucking care about that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's JJ. If you're a basketball diehard like me, then you know there's always something spicy to talk about when it comes to the NBA. That's why I'm excited to play this week's episode of The Old Man and the Three Things for You. Normally, this show's available exclusively on Amazon Music, but I wanted to give you a preview of what it's about so you can join us every week. In the show, Tommy and I cover the hottest topics in the league, but without the outlandish takes. We unpack top stats, trends, and preview big games. I will also drop one of these every other week on this feed, so if you don't do it now, I'll keep reminding you to follow us on the Amazon Music app, where you can listen to this and all our content ad-free.